Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe. Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, has warned that the president will sack ministers who fail to perform their duties. Usman said Tinubu is poised to deliver on his promise of making life better and easier for Nigerians. The presidential aide issued the warning at the opening of the technical retreat for delivery desk officers of federal ministries on implementation of presidential priorities and ministerial deliverables in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital. Usman called for the total commitment of delivery officers and directors of planning in ministries who were present at the retreat, admonishing them to get serious with their jobs. In the wake of the prevailing bloodletting in the country, Vice President Kashif Shettima has reminded Nigerians that ending insecurity in the nation remained the cardinal agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. The Vice President spoke at the opening of a two-day roundtable on insecurity in northern Nigeria, with the theme multi-dimensional approach to tackling insecurity in the northern Nigeria, organized by the coalition of northern groups CNG in Abuja. His declaration got the buy-in of the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, who expressed confidence that the battle against insecurity could be won. Shettima, who was represented by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Senator Ibrahim Hassan, assured Nigerians that the federal government was not relenting in tackling insecurity in the nation, calling for collaborative efforts in taming the menace. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has described education as a key achieving a lasting peace in Nigeria. Tinubu said this in a statement to mark this year's annual International Day of Education, saying this year's theme of learning for lasting peace is appropriate. She said building a more peaceful future rests on the nation's commitment to pursuing quality education. She therefore urged Nigerians to embrace transformative learning and invest more in inclusivity that instills in children the values of peace and tolerance to build a Nigeria of peace, progress, and prosperity for all. Let's turn to our stories now. Minister for Education Yusuf Sununu has said in Yola that the federal government has redoubled efforts to ensure out-of-school children are returned and retained in schools. The minister, who stated this at the inauguration of the National Campaign on Out-of-School Children 2024 for 4 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, said this was to achieve a better society. Represented by Joy Onoja, Federal Ministry's Deputy Director, Basic Education, Sununu stated that a significant number of children in Nigeria were still deprived of their fundamental rights to education. Ministry of Solid Minerals Development is partnering with the Global Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, EITI, to drive reforms in the sector. Dele Alake, Minister of the Ministry, disclosed this while receiving a delegation of EITI led by Dr. Ogbonaya Oji, Executive Secretary, Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NITI, in Abuja. Alaki expressed the federal government's commitment to work with EITI and NATI to advance economic-driven strides in the solid mineral sector. He said that the government was determined to reposition the solid mineral sector to boost Nigeria's revenue profile while also creating job opportunities for the teeming unemployed youths. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has demanded to see the death certificate of a former Director of Legal, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Grace Tiger's lawyer, Daniel Alumun, had on November 4, 2023, informed the Federal Capital Territory High Court that his client had died. Tiger is standing trial before Justice Olukayode Adeniyi on allegations bordering on bribery in the controversial gas supply processing agreement between Process and Industrial Development, PNID, on the one hand, and the federal government of Nigeria on the other. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has claimed that she violated various laws by entering into the agreement without the approval of the Federal Executive Council and without obtaining a certificate of no objection to the contract from the Bureau of Public Enterprise, BPE. Chairman and Chief Executive of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Marwa retired, and the Controller General of the Nigeria Customs, Bashir Adeniyi have commended the synergy between the two law enforcement agencies, saying the collaboration is a strong warning to drug cartels that they will continue to lose their investments in the criminal trade. The duo spoke at the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos when the Customs CG led his team to hand over illicit drugs seized during joint examination by the agency. Customs and other security agencies of containers the anti-narcotic agency had been tracking based on the credible intelligence from international partners. In his remarks, Marwa, who was represented by the agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said the handing over of seized illicit drugs is a development that speaks volumes about the diligence of security agencies tasked with securing the country. The Police Service Commission, PSC, has approved the appointments of new officers and the promotion of 1,897 senior officers to their next substantive ranks. The head of press and public relations of the commission, Ikechukwu Ani, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. He said the commission approved the appointment of Dasuki Galadanchi, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 12, Bauchi, as a Deputy Inspector General of Police to represent the Northwest geopolitical zone of the country. The commission promoted 14 commissioners of police to the rank of Assistant Inspectors General of Police, 21 Deputy Commissioners of Police to Commissioners of Police, Assistant Commissioners of Police to Deputy Commissioners of Police, and 109 Chief Superintendents of Police to Assistant Commissioners of Police. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has debunked reports of bomb blasts in the Maitama districts of the territory on Wednesday. In a statement by spokesperson Josephine Ade, a superintendent of police, the police said it was an explosion caused by an overheated metal refuse container activated under intense heat. Reports indicated earlier in the day that there was a bomb blast in the federal capital. The police examined that the explosion occurred at a dump site outside Bureau of Public Enterprise BPE premises, inflicting injury on two refuse evacuators who are currently receiving medical attention in Maitama General Hospital. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command says it has arrested another suspected kidnapper as its Special Intervention Squad takes more steps to protect residents. Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory, Haruna Garba, made this known while briefing newsmen in Abuja. He said the suspect was arrested in Sauka village on January 21 and the kidnapped victim was rescued. The CP explained that police operatives from Ido Division had received a distress call that some armed men in a black Toyota Corolla had fired the tires of a moving Prado Jeep of one Suleiman Sabo. Garba added that the victim has been admitted to the hospital and is responding to treatment. Still in the Federal Capital Territory, the Minister, Nyesom Wike, has enlisted the support of traditional leaders to strengthen the fight against insecurity in the territory. Wike said during a security meeting with the FCT Council of Chiefs and the chairman of the 6 area councils in Abuja that the support was critical to winning the war against criminal elements. He assured residents that the government was not sleeping but doing everything possible to address the challenges. According to him, there is need for a strong synergy between the government and traditional leaders to win the war against insecurity. The Supreme Court has upheld the election of Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State. The court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel led by Justice Kudirat Kekere Eko, on Thursday dismissed as lacking in merit an appeal by the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Toyin Cole, filed to challenge the outcome of the governorship election that held in the state on March 18, 2023. In the lead judgment that was delivered by Justice Ibrahim Salawa, the Apex Court said it found no reason to dislodge the concurrent verdicts of the Court of Appeal and the Rivers State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, which upheld Fubara's victory at the poll. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court today affirmed Agbo Kefes of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as the valid winner of the governorship election that held in Taraba State on March 18, 2023. The Apex Court, in its lead judgment that was delivered by Justice Mohammed Garba, dismissed as incompetent an appeal that was filed by the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, and its governorship candidates in the state, Professor Sani Yahaya. The Apex Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel, held that the NNPP and its candidates filed an incomplete record of appeal. In a similar development, the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Ahmed Aliyu as Sokoto State Governor. Delivering the lead judgment on a 5-member panel of the court, Tijani Abubakar dismissed the appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party and its governorship candidate, Saidu Umar. Let's now take you to Nigeria's southwest, where Ondo State House of Assembly today screened and confirmed Olaide Adelami as the deputy governor of the state. The development came 24 hours after the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, had picked Adelami as the deputy governor nominee and sent his name to the assembly for screening and approval. The assembly confirmed the nominee after the consideration of a report by the House Selection Committee presided over by the Speaker Olamide Oladiji during plenary session of the assembly. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says all is set for the Akoko Northeast and Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency election scheduled for February 3 in Ondo State. The State Resident Electoral Commissioner Olutoyin Babalola said in Akure, the state capital, that non-sensitive materials had been received from INEC headquarters and sent to the 2 local government areas. Babalola, who spoke on the sideline of a 2-day training for supervisory presiding officers at the INEC office in Akure, said that adequate number of biomodal voter accreditation system, otherwise called BVAS machines, had been configured for the election to hold in 329 polling units. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, price of rice up by 81% in 2023, says National Bureau of Statistics. We have all of those details for you right after this short break. Do stay with us. This is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of a News Cycle with Uyi Agmofwebe. Thank you for staying with us. Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, today said the construction of the 4th mainland bridge would begin in the first quarter of this year by the end of March or April. The governor disclosed this in his keynote address during the Lagos West Senatorial District Town Hall meeting held at the Balmoral Convention Center, Sheraton Ikeja. The governor noted that the bridge will be constructed in phases, while promising that landlords and tenants of structures demolished during the construction will be duly compensated. Similarly, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu today said the Lagos Red Line will be unveiled in February. The governor, who spoke at the Lagos West Senatorial District Town Hall meeting held at the Balmoral Convention Center in Ikeja, said the state government had written officially to President Bola Tinubu informing him of the planned unveiling in February. As we turn to the foreign scene now, the International Court of Justice will tomorrow rule on provisional request from South Africa in the case accusing Israel of genocide in Gaza. A press statement by the court says a public sitting will take place at 1 p.m. at the Peace Palace in The Hague, during which Judge John Donaghy, the president of the court, will read the court's order. Both countries presented their arguments at the ICJ on the 10th and 11th of January, where South Africa's lawyers said Israel and its agencies are intentional about wiping out entire families in Gaza. Responding to South Africa, Israel said it was acting in self-defense and blamed Hamas for the wounds of people in the Gaza Strip. South Africa also requested the court to approve provisional measures to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people under the Genocide Convention. The European Union, EU, has said it will invest 18 million euros to fund vaccine research in Nigeria. Head of the EU delegation to the country and ECOWAS, Ambassador Samuela Isopi, disclosed this in Abuja at the presentation of the National Plan for Vaccine Research and Development and Local Production 2024 2034. The plan was developed by the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, with the support from EU and Bulgaria governments. ESOPI, who was represented by Professor Leila Matthew, said the EU was aligned with the nation's priorities, adding that the development of the plan was timely and could not come at a better moment. She said that the Minister of State for Health was also taking the plan to the highest level with the EU to discuss other parts of it. Let's turn to business now. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has constructed a 150 million liters storage facility for the Port Harcourt Refining Company ahead of full operations of the plants. The company stated this yesterday. It said the storage facility was constructed in Atlas Cove, adding that the company had signed build, operate, and transfer agreements for the rehabilitation of pipelines and storage facilities nationwide. The National Oil Company revealed that its retail arm distributed about 14 billion liters of white products in 2023. The company further stated that an aviation arm had been created that would supply fuel to 3 international carriers, adding that more airlines would be served in due course. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is investigating at least $347 billion allocated to companies in Nigeria between January 2014 and June 2023. This came as fresh findings show that the Anti-Graft Agency has extended its forex allocation probe to include some foreign firms operating in the country. However, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN data, revealed that local and foreign companies in the country got at least $347.49 billion from the Apex Bank to service their foreign exchange needs and obligations within the 10-year period. Nigeria's national power grids collapsed 46 times from 2017 to 2023, and that's according to a report by the International Energy Agency, Wednesday. According to the report, Nigerians endured more nationwide blackouts in 2023, especially on September 14, when the grid collapsed due to a fire on a major transmission line. The IEA said Nigeria had grappled with recurrent power failures, totaling 46 grid collapses between 2017 and 2023. Nigeria's grids continue to face issues due to aged infrastructure and vandalism. The federal government has set a tax revenue target of 19.4 trillion naira for 2024. This is as the Federal Inland Revenue Service collected a record 12.37 trillion naira in tax revenue for the Federation in 2023, surpassing the year's target of 10.7 trillion naira. According to the chairman of the service, Dr. Zach Adedeji, the new target is achievable because of an effective tax collection system and a viable economic environment for businesses to prosper. Giving a breakdown of the figures, one of the agency's coordinating directors, Amina Ado, disclosed that oil revenue accounted for 3.17 trillion naira of the total, representing 25.6%, while non-oil revenue was 74.4% at 9.2 trillion naira. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has said the Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, generated 1.49 billion naira in revenue from passengers in Q3, that is quarter 3 of 2023. This is contained in the NBS rail transportation data for quarter 3 and quarter 4 2023, released on Thursday in Abuja. The figure increased by 108.25% compared to 715.09 million naira generated in quarter 3 of 2022. Similarly, 286.78 million naira was collected in quarter 3 2023 as revenue from goods and cargo, and this increased by 181.58% from 101.84 million naira received in quarter 3 of 2022. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says the stage of Nigeria's economic transformation roadmap shows the country is currently in the stabilization phase. CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso asserted that Nigerian Economic Summit Group NESG 2024 macroeconomic outlook launch on Wednesday in Lagos. The CBN governor noted that the NESG's focus on the roadmap resonates with the CBN's recently launched strategy, suggesting that both plans share similar visions for Nigeria's economic future. He He named the Apex Bank roadmap for achieving its mandates as ensuring monetary, price, and financial system stability as a catalyst for inclusive growth and sustainable development. Cardoso noted that the CBN's strategy, which had three core themes, price, stability, a robust financial system, and good governance, aligned well with the NESG's call for distinct interconnected phases in its roadmap. The National Bureau of Statistics has disclosed that the average price of 1 kg of local rice increased by 81.35% on a year-on-year basis to 917 naira 93 kobo in December last year. This indicates that the price of rice, which is a staple feed item in Nigeria, has increased by 411 naira 76 kobo when compared to the corresponding price of 506 naira 17 kobo recorded in December 2022. The NBS reported that the average price of 1 kilogram of tomato rose by 77.60% on a year-on-year basis from 458 naira 42 kobo in December 2022 to 814 naira 16 kobo in December 2023. Let's turn to the power sector now, where the Benin Electricity Distribution Company, BEDC, has said the power problem being experienced by its customers is beyond its control. The company told its customers in Delta, Edo, Ekiti, and Ondo states, which are its catchment states, that the reduction in supply hours was due to limitations in allocation from the national grid. Poor power supply being experienced nationwide was as a result of continuous drop in the national grid, it says. The Eko Electricity Distribution Company had blamed the situation on the gas shortage and other issues, as Nigerians have been complaining of power outages since December 2023. And now time to get some excitement out of sports. President Bola Tinubu has urged the Super Eagles to improve their performance and do better in the final stages of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire. Tinubu's message was through the Minister of Sport, John Eno, who spoke to the players from Abuja via Zoom on Wednesday night in Abidjan. The responding team captain Ahmed Musa thanked the sports minister, but also called on the president to come to see them play live, saying it will serve as a motivation to the players. The Super Eagles will play the indomitable Lions of Cameroon in the last 16 of the tournament on Saturday at the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium in Abidjan, the country's capital. And back home, Chairman, Nigeria Premier Football League, NPFL Youth League Committee, Emeka Iyama, has called on clubs to ensure proper documentation of their players ahead of the screening scheduled for January 31. Iyama, who stated this on Thursday in Lagos, said that proper documentation was required to avoid players being disqualified due to the negligence of their clubs. He said that clubs are expected to arrive at their centers on January 30 to commence the screening, adding that the zonal qualifiers will take place from February 1 to 3. The NPFL Youth League will be held in 5 centers: Enugu for Southeast teams and Lafia for North Central teams. Others are Asaba for South-South teams, Ekiti for Southwest teams, and Kaduna for Northwest and Northeast teams. And that's a full cycle on the news here, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on our screen. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm Oyi Agbomofoegbe, thanking you on behalf of the entire team here at Global Television. I'll see you again.